Hi guys. So I'm gonna do a quick screencast to showcase a sample app deployment on Kubernetes. So I'm using Minikube for this, but I'll probably do another screencast or provide the scripts, the Ansible playbooks, and everything required to do it on AWS as well. So what I'm gonna do is uh, first let me show you where we are. So I use this. Cube ENS, it's basically provided by someone in the open source world, and you can switch context easily with this utility. So this helps you switch in between namespaces. So as you can see, there are four namespaces, and we are currently pointing to MySpace, which is not the default namespace which I've created. So normally there are three namespaces which comes with any Kubernetes installation. Default is for objects which do not have any namespace defined. The public namespace, which is for everyone to read or to look into, is available for all. And the kube system, which contains objects, Kubernetes objects, which are required uh, by which are consumed by Kubernetes itself. So if you want to see everything, what we can do is all namespaces. So it shows us, there is a kube proxy daemon set which is running in the kube system namespace. There is a deployment. There are two deployments: kube DNS and kube dashboard. There are a lot of services. There are a lot of pods. There are two replica sets for the respective deployments. So this is something which is in the kube system. Right now we are inside MySpace, which has nothing in it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy a sample app. I'm not going to deploy the echo service. I'm deploying the Nginx, which is there's no big difference. So yep. So now let's do the deployment. Now you can simply do kubectl create and the YAML file. You can provide all the object definition inside it. So let's see first of all what's inside this web server YAML file. So it's a deployment object. There's some metadata, the specifications. We are defining the replica set. So minimum we need three replica sets. There are some labels uh, in order to identify this particular pod or any object which is associated with this deployment type. The image we are trying to pull is Nginx Alpine tag. The container port we are using is 80. So let me create this. So the deployment is created. Now we need to create a service. So let's see what's inside this service. You can see the object type is service. It's basically pointing to this deployment. And here you can see we are also we are selecting this particular label. It's node port type of service. I won't go into much details about Kubernetes components, but node port type of service means this particular port will be static for all worker nodes of Kubernetes. In this case, it's all in one server. Anyway, so let's create it as well. So kubectl create service. All right, perfect. So now let's see what all is inside. Okay, so in the same namespace, we have just now created, uh, you can see a deployment object, you can see replica set, there are three pods, and there's a service. And the node port is 31537. So I'm gonna quickly check what's there on this particular. So first of all, let me find out the Minikube IP, and port number is 31537. So So you can see there is this Nginx service is running on this port. Right. Now the default Kubernetes dashboard runs on 30,000 port. And one thing which I want to tell you now is, so if you want to auto scale this, if you want to auto scale our application, so right now there's a replica set which is defined. Uh, if you go if you go to the deployment YAML, you see the replicas are three. But what if we want to auto scale this? What if we want to uh, we have some CPU threshold. If that's met, we should bump this number to 6. So that's also possible. But for that, you need to have a daemon set, a heapster daemon set, which is a pod uh, which is gonna monitor your your cluster metrics. So if that's not available, it's not you cannot auto scale. So that is a prerequisite. And on Minikube, you can check that uh, it comes as an add-on. So okay, it's let me see right now. So where is Heapster? Currently it's disabled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enable it. Right. Let's check. So it's enabled, which means uh, there would be a pod created for Heapster. So let's see if it's created. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me. So okay, I see it here. Strange. So I see a pod for Heapster, and I see a service created as well in Cube system. That means now we are good to go. So let me switch back to my space. All right, and if you want to check kube if you want to check if there's any horizontal there's any resources in HPA, which is horizontal pod auto scaling. So there is nothing right now in my space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say uh, I'm gonna say the minimum I want is 3 and maximum is 5 when the CPU percentage is 80. So when the CPU threshold goes to 80, bump my uh, pods to 5. This is what I'm saying basically. So now I've created an HPA. So if you see, a horizontal pod auto scaling object is created called web server. Uh, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out and save it because everything should be versioned. Now this step, what we did right now, we did it the other way around. So we created an HPA object, but now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a YAML, and ideally I would be checking it into my source code. So that's how you can auto scale. Now let's see what's inside this. So you can see the max replicas would be 5, the min is 3, and the target CPU utilization percentage is 80%. So this is how you can auto scale basically. Now we are fine, and I'm gonna stop now, uh, and I'm gonna create something similar for AWS. Thank you.